Hey, what's up, Front Range? Welcome back to the Virtual Training Center. Today is our core workout number 3. I believe it's the third one. Hopefully you guys have been able to progress through and we keep getting stronger and better. Like I said before yesterday's workout, if you can't finish all the rounds in either the regular bodyweight workouts or the core workouts, start with 1 to 2 rounds, somewhere that's something that's able for you to do, and that's an achievable goal. And then as we progress through the weeks, you can come back and start to do 1 more round or 2 more rounds, depending on how good your body feels. Today we're going 3 rounds. Again, we're going for 30 seconds for each exercise. We got 12 total exercises today. And we're going to try and go continuously through the whole round without resting, okay? So for the first exercise, we call it 6 inches. And how that looks is I put my hands underneath my butt. I'm always driving my belly button and my diaphragm down into the ground. Keep that spine stability and the core activated. I'm just gonna hang out here with my spine and complete stable flat line. And my legs just sink 6 inches off the ground. And you're just holding this for 30 seconds here. Okay, again, making sure that you're driving that stomach down into the ground. I don't want to have a big space in between your lower back and the ground, okay? So 6 inches, that's the first exercise, just holding it there. Keeping that core activated. After that, we're gonna do reverse crunches, which is just gonna be bringing your knees up and then pushing them back out. Knees up, pushing them back out. Again, everything that we do, especially when we're on our backs, we're driving that belly button and rib cage down into the ground. So we're really activating those core muscles. After we get through 30 seconds of that, we're going into our double leg lifts, which we've done before. Right before we touch the ground, going back up again, nice and controlled. Again, pushing that stomach down into the ground, keeping that back and that space eliminated. After we do our double leg lifts, we're going to go into what we call windshield wipers. That's where I'm going to put my hands out to the side here, lay my head back on the ground, and I'm going to put my legs straight. If this is too hard, we can have our legs bent at 90 degrees. Okay, a little bit more advanced, we go legs straight, and I'm going to go with it. My legs are left, my head goes to the right, almost touch the ground, back up. Vice versa, if they go to the right, my head goes to the left. And we're just gonna go here for 30 seconds. Like I said, if that's too tough, feel free to bend your legs at 90 degrees. And you're gonna still get some core activation, plus a little bit of lower lumbar spine mobility as well too, when we do that. After that, we are going into our high plank mountain climbers, which we're going to pulse these, which is going to be opposite knee, opposite elbow. Again, make sure that you're sucking that spine and diaphragm into diaphragm and your belly button into your spine, and just touching those alternating right knee to left elbow, left knee to right elbow. After that, we're going to go into plank mountain climbers. Again, activating that core, and I'm just going to go opposite knee towards my right elbow with the hold and switch. Again, make sure that we're not over rotating here. Elbows stay on the ground, and I drive my knee up as far as I can to each elbow. After that, we go into just a side plank for 30 seconds. Again, make sure that core is activated, and I'm trying to create as much space in between the ground and my torso here. Just sitting there for 30 seconds, flip it over there for 30 seconds. Then after that, we're gonna go into our extensors and low back work. I don't think these should ever be neglected. I feel it's really important to make sure we're working on our mobility and our strength of our extensors. I'm gonna go into the bird dogs, which is opposite arm, opposite leg up at the same time. So my hands are directly underneath my shoulders. And I'm just gonna elevate here, squeezing my left glute while I'm doing that, then back down. Same thing on the other side, just for 30 seconds. I really want to make sure that I'm not hyperextending when I'm doing this and putting a lot of stress on that lower lumbar. I'm just literally going straight out, squeezing that glute, and again, keeping that core engaged, belly button in to your spine, right? I don't want to have overextension on that lower back. After that, we go into our chest lift-offs, which is I'm just going to be laying here. I'm going to squeeze my core, my glutes. I'm just going to lift my chest off the ground. Just sitting here for about 30 seconds again. I don't want to overextend. I'm just lifting with my lower back. All right, then we go into our alternating swimmers, which is right arm, left leg again. Just lift with the lower back. You're going to go for 15 seconds each side. All right, so 30 seconds total. Then after that, 30 seconds of your scuba steves. Okay? And then after, so that's it for the core workout, right? Remember, going 3 times through all those exercises. And we're going to rest for about a minute and a half in between each round. Try and go through the entire round of 30 seconds each exercise without stopping. If you have to stop, it's okay, rest for a little bit, but we want to try and see if we can get through the entire round completely before resting. For today's mobility work, what we're going to be doing is working on that T-spine. And so you're going to grab a foam roller, and I'm going to lay my back towards you just so you can see what we're kind of doing here. So working on that upper T-spine mobility and lower T-spine right before we get into our lumbar spine, right? So, because this area can get really tight, especially for those of you that sit hunched all day, right? This is kind of a natural position for us as a species to sit like this. We really want to work this area, right, into extension and flexion and kind of move all the way around, help loosen up that area as well as our lats. So where I'm going to start is my upper thoracic spine. I'm going to go ahead and hug myself. That way it opens up the scapula and the T-spine. And I'm just going to start rolling back and forth just on that upper area, right? And then you can kind of go side to side with it as well too. Trying to open up and find any tight areas. It won't be hard. You can hear me struggling already because my back's pretty tight already. Again, while you're doing this, especially when you find a tight spot, make sure you're focusing on that breathing. It's not as easy for me since I'm talking the entire time, but you're going through that breathing you're breathing in through your nose for 4 seconds, really trying to expand that diaphragm, and then out, sucking that diaphragm back in, right? So something like finding a tight spot, and feel your back sink more into that roller, right? Starting to smash it. I just felt a crack right there. So after you go back and forth a few times, all right, then we want to start kind of going into some extension. All right, and then flexion as well too, bringing it up, coming out, again, side to side. Going into extension, right, and then back into the flexion, finding all those crevices. You can sit here for about 5 or 6 minutes and really find all those knots and tight areas in that T-spine. And you'll find you'll crack your back more than several times while going through these areas. But keep working in and out of flexion and extension. And when you go into extension, feel free to put your arms over your head too to get a little bit more of a stretch. You can even lift your legs up to take some of the tension off and some of the weight off of the back. I could literally sit here for about 10, 15 minutes and do this and really loosen up that upper back area, which is so easily locked up just because we're so naturally inclined to have rounded shoulders or a slouched posture, right? It's okay to be like that, but it's important to make sure that we don't just submit to that and that's our only area that we can be in, right? We want to make sure we're cleaning up this area so we're able to have good posture, have our shoulders back, and be in line. After that, we're going to go over onto our lat, which is probably one of the biggest muscles in your back. And I'm going to find it, and I'm going to try and roll over onto it, into my chest. Oh man. Same thing, just kind of messing around in here, rolling back and forth, up and down, but mainly trying to flatten that lat until it comes up almost into your pectoral muscles. Right, you can kind of wash it in and out right here. It's really easy for this area to get sore too, right? Because this is one of the most important muscles in your back. Hopefully you guys can see me right now, but I didn't realize how much I was moving. Yeah, just about 3 to 4 minutes on each arm. Go ahead and flip it over, right? Same thing. Rolling up, finding that lat, and then rolling it up. And you'll feel it start to get tight and squeeze as you bring it up towards your pectoral muscle there. All right, and that's it today for our core and mobility session. Feel free to spend about 10 to 12 minutes on this with going into flexion, extension, rolling from side to side, really getting deep in those crevices and cleaning up that upper spine. And right now you can almost feel like your head's kind of floating, but your whole back just opens up. Your whole torso just feels a lot more looser. Thanks for joining us today. See you guys again tomorrow for another quarantine bodyweight workout. Keep staying healthy out there, keep washing those hands, and keep staying away from people.